basically the situation is it's becoming a mainstream issue very quickly. So 5 years ago, it was kept as in a very small circle and kept as a diplomatic and also political issue. Now it's become like a nationwide general issue and very important topics. And also our policy changed around climate change. Now, so starting last year, so our government called for change of growth pattern. Basically, the key word in that change is low carbon economy. So basically, you see Chinese political arena made adjustment and try to guide our economy to change towards this more climate, environmental friendly direction. And also, Chinese government made commitment in Copenhagen conference, and then our People's Congress decided that the commitment will be adopted into our 12th five-year plan, regardless of what is happening in the international negotiation. So you can see that Chinese government is serious about climate change issue, but we still in the society there are still doubters about the issue. I learned that there's similar doubts in U.S. society too. There's both political differences as well as scientific differences. The same thing in China too. But in China, it seems to be getting mainstream attention. The issue becomes very important, and it's affecting our national strategy. In China, there's no two parties competing with each other. The main political doubter came from the camps that doubt everything from abroad. So climate change basically is a foreign concept to us a few years ago. Now because many people have started recognizing it, have started learning, but our knowledge is still limited, I would say. Even among academics, our knowledge is still quite limited. We will still rely on the traditional energy, mostly. But the government and the private sector realize the trend and the necessity to change to improve energy efficiency, also to change the energy structure. There are a lot of investment in new energy, like wind power, solar power, and there are huge plan on nuclear power. But nuclear power is getting slowed down because of the Japanese incident. And it's good. It's good for China to take the lessons, really study the safety issue of nuclear. But people in China still believe nuclear power is part of the story. And the government announced that our goal is to have non-fossil energy taking up 15% of the energy consumption. The government commitment to all these climate change goal and energy intensity goal tend to be conservative. In reality, the progress is faster than that. Over the last 30 years, China undertook 2 rounds of forest tenure reform. Deforestation is widespread in developing countries. Probably you can identify a country as a developed country from its level of deforestation, basically. Over the last 30 years, China probably is just the only one, or maybe one of the 2 developing countries having their forest resources increased. So the reason behind that is the continuous institutional reform. In most developing countries, the reform tend to give the management right to communities. So for people who study natural resource management, community management is the key word. But in China, China's reform is more like forget about community giving the management rights to individual household. It's more like a privatization. But so we have to, there are a lot of doubts in this process because the most knowledgeable people in the world talk about community management. Why China is doing privatization? Well, China already has a community system, in collective system. Why do you want to further? It's useful to get the data, evaluate the impacts of the reform, whether the reform is done well, and whether the reform is serving the purpose of ecological improvement as well as like poverty alleviation. So we're doing this evaluation.